Hey, it's Tara. Today I'm going to be reviewing Seanan McGuire's InCryptid series. It's an urban fantasy. The first one was written in 2012, and she's written one every year since then, so there are 3 out now. The first one is Discount Armageddon, then you have Midnight Blue Light Special, and Half Off Ragnarok. I would be lying if I didn't say the biggest reason I bought these was because of the titles, because that's pretty much why I did it. This series is pure fun reading. It started off fairly well with part-time cryptozoologist, part-time ballroom dancer Verity Price, who's the latest in the generation of the Price family, which has made it their business to protect the more harmless supernatural creatures, which they call cryptids, from the Covenant, which has sworn to pretty much destroy anything that's supernatural, regardless of its intent to harm anyone or anything. So Verity fits pretty much every trope for an urban fantasy. She is sassy, snappy, emotionally underdeveloped. She wears flashy clothing that no one could do the things she does in, and the list goes on. And yeah, after telling myself, just sit down and enjoy it and stop worrying about whether or not those 4-inch heels of hers would allow her to do free running across rooftops, yeah, I enjoyed it. While I had no lasting love for Verity herself, I actually did quite enjoy the supporting cast, Verity's family included. And no small part of my joy in the series was caused by the Aislinn mice, which are the worshipful clan of mice which belong to, or I guess choose to worship, those in the Price family. And they're simply fantastic. And yeah, okay, the plots are pretty interesting too. The second and third books weren't quite as fun as the first, but they were still exciting enough, I thought. And the third book focuses on Verity's brother instead, and one of the things I dislike about Seanan McGuire's writing ability shows up very clearly in this book, in that Verity's brother sounds exactly like Verity. There's no difference in the narrative voice, I thought. So my final view on this series is that if you want something fun and easy to read that is supernatural and sort of urban fantasy with a dash of humor and a dash of romance, I guess, you could do a lot worse. I also want to talk about Sparrow Hill Road also by Seanan McGuire, which was put out in 2014. It's written in the same world as the InCryptid series, but its focus is on Rose Marshall, who is somewhat distantly related to the Price family, but I don't remember details. I think she was mentioned just once in passing in one of the InCryptid novels. Anyways, Rose Marshall is 16 years old, and she has been for the last, 60 years or so. Sacrificed by Bobby Cross on the road to his immortality, she now haunts the roads of America, hitching toward the final goal of vengeance. I actually liked this book slightly better than the rest of the InCryptid main stories, though there is an issue of repetition due to it being a linked set of short stories. And as usual, there's not much to set apart the voice of Rose Marshall from, say, Verity Price or Verity's brother, or pretty much any of Seanan McGuire's characters, despite the fact that Rose Marshall was born at least 40 years before any of her other characters. Still, I like the mythology of the book along with the overarching plot and the individual stories that showed up within it. There was a lot of, I felt like there were a lot of other traditional American ghost stories that were sort of mentioned here and there, and I am really looking forward to hopefully seeing some more of those show up in standalone books later, like The Lady of the Road, I think is one of them, or I forget, it's been a bit. So overall, I'd say it's a fairly decent, if not very scary ghost story, and I'd recommend it as a light read. So today was Seanan McGuire's InCryptid series and Sparrow Hill Road. If you've read these, I'd love to hear what you thought about them, and how you feel about Seanan McGuire's characterization if you read a lot of Seanan McGuire. I haven't read her Toby Day series yet. I've been a little bit hesitant to, but considering how much fun I generally have with Seanan McGuire's stuff, I probably will get around to reading it at some point. but if you have any pressing reasons why I should do it sooner rather than later, I would love to hear it. Yes. Anyways, until next time. I'd also like to talk about Sparrow Hill Roll. I'd also like to talk about Sparrow Hill I can't say that word. I also want to talk about Sparrow Hill Roll and Sparrow Hill Road